Adae's life was a complex web of secrets and lies. On the surface, he was a devoted husband to his wife, Nneoma, and a loving father to their 3-year-old daughter, Amara. But beneath the facade, Adaeze had a secret: he had been cheating on Nneoma. Adae's infidelity had started innocently enough. A flirtation with a colleague had turned into a full-blown affair. But as time went on, Adae's cheating became more frequent and more reckless. He would pick up women at bars and clubs, and even had a few one-night stands with women he met online. Despite his cheating, Adaeze had never gotten caught. He was careful to cover his tracks, and Nneoma had never suspected a thing. But Adae's luck was about to run out. One day, Adaeze received a letter from a woman named Adaeze. She claimed that Adaeze was the father of her 6-month-old son, and she had proof. Adaeze was stunned. He didn't remember sleeping with Adaeze, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that he might have. Adaeze was a cunning woman who had been looking for a wealthy man to pin her baby on. She had been watching Adaeze from afar, admiring his wealth and success. When she discovered she was pregnant, she knew exactly who to turn to. Adaeze, feeling guilty and anxious, decided to meet with Adaeze. He took Nneoma with him, hoping that together they could get to the bottom of things. At the meeting, Adaeze showed Adaeze photos and messages that seemed to prove they had a relationship. But Adaeze still couldn't remember anything. He felt like he was living in a nightmare. Despite his doubts, Adaeze decided to take responsibility for the child. He brought Adaeze to his home, and she gave birth to the baby there. For 6 months, Adaeze played the role of doting father, providing for the child's every need. But as time went on, Adaeze started to notice things that didn't quite add up. The child's features didn't seem to resemble his own, and Adaeze seemed evasive whenever he asked her about the child's birth. Adae's suspicions grew, and he couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. He decided to take matters into his own hands, and filed a lawsuit to determine the child's paternity. The court ordered a DNA test, and Adaeze anxiously awaited the results. Finally, the day arrived, and Adaeze stood in the courtroom, his heart racing with anticipation. The judge looked at the results, and his expression was stern. "Mr. Adaeze," he said, "the DNA test results are conclusive. You are not the biological father of the child." Adaeze felt a mix of emotions: relief, anger, and betrayal. He turned to Adaeze, who looked stunned but not entirely surprised. "Why did you do this?" Adaeze demanded. "Why did you lie to me and try to pin this child on me?" Adaeze just shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Adaeze," she whispered. "I was desperate, and I didn't know what else to do." Adae's heart went out to the child, who was innocent in all of this. But he knew he had to protect himself and his family. He turned to Nneoma, who was standing by his side, and together they walked out of the courtroom, ready to start a new chapter in their lives. As they walked out, Adaeze couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. He had dodged a bullet, and he was grateful to have Nneoma by his side. But he knew that this was just the beginning. He had to confront his own infidelity and work on rebuilding his marriage. Adaeze looked at Nneoma, feeling a deep sense of love and gratitude. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry for everything." Nneoma looked at him, her eyes filled with tears. "I know you are," she said. "But we have a long way to go. We need to work on rebuilding our marriage and regaining trust." Adaeze nodded, feeling a sense of determination. He was ready to do whatever it took to save his marriage and become a better husband and father. As they walked home, Adaeze couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. He knew that he had a long way to go, but he was ready for the journey. He was ready to confront his demons and become a better person. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but Adaeze was ready. He was ready to face his mistakes and work on becoming a better husband, father, and person. As the days turned into weeks, Adaeze and Nneoma worked tirelessly to rebuild their marriage. They went to therapy, had long conversations, and made a conscious effort to reconnect. Adaeze was determined to regain Nneoma's trust. He was transparent about his actions, and he made sure to include Nneoma in every aspect of his life. Nneoma, on the other hand, was struggling to forgive Adaeze. She felt betrayed and hurt, and she didn't know if she could ever trust him again. But as they worked through their issues, Nneoma started to see Ade in a different light. She realized that he was genuinely sorry for his mistakes, and that he was willing to do whatever it took to make things right. Slowly but surely, Nneoma's heart started to heal. She began to trust Ade again, and their marriage started to flourish. Meanwhile, Adaeze was left to deal with the consequences of her actions. She had tried to pin her child on Ade, but her plan had backfired. Adaeze was forced to raise her child on her own, and she struggled to make ends meet. She realized too late that she had made a mistake by trying to deceive Ade. As for Ade and Nneoma, they were able to put the past behind them and move forward. They learned a valuable lesson about the importance of honesty and trust in a marriage. Their love story was one of redemption and forgiveness. They proved that with hard work and determination, any marriage can be saved. In the end, Ade and Nneoma emerged stronger and more in love than ever before. They knew that their marriage was worth fighting for, and they were grateful for a second chance. In the end, Ade and Nneoma emerged stronger and more in love than ever before. They knew that their marriage was worth fighting for, and they were grateful for a second chance.